Welcome to Surviving Wokeland with Ethan Quinn, a channel dedicated to exposing and explaining the ideology driving wokeness. The most fundamental requirement for freedom is the ability to hold your own opinions without fear or retribution. As John Stuart Mill said, this, then, is the appropriate region of human liberty. It comprises, first, the inward domain of consciousness, demanding liberty of conscience in the most comprehensive sense, liberty of thought and feeling, absolute freedom of opinion and sentiment on all subjects, practical or speculative, scientific, moral, or theological. Without this liberty of conscience, the freedom to hold your own opinion, no society can be free. Throughout history, totalitarian regimes have robbed individuals of this freedom to control and manipulate their populations, often resorting to extreme measures to shape ideology and eliminate dissent. One such method that has left a lasting and haunting legacy is the establishment of so-called re-education camps. So, for anyone who understands history, Hillary Clinton's remarks in a recent CNN interview are chilling.
Because at some point, maybe there needs to be a formal deprogramming of the cult members.
Regardless of what you think of Trump or his supporters, official reprogramming is not something that can happen in a free society. But wanting to reprogram or re-educate your political opponents is not new to the left. Hillary Clinton is just echoing the words of other authoritarian leaders who despise the idea of political freedom. For decades, the left has used educational institutions to re-educate people and brainwash them into compliance. But now they want to reprogram the people who are still capable of independent thought. So let's take a brief look at the history of re-education and who Clinton is emulating. Number 1. Hitler, Nazi Germany. During Adolf Hitler's reign in Nazi Germany, the regime established concentration camps as a means of eliminating perceived enemies of the state. While we associate the Nazi camps with death camps, such as the infamous Auschwitz, they also established so-called re-education camps like the Blechhammer forced labor and re-education camp. It was believed that political dissidents could be educated through punishment and forced labor, and brought around to agreeing with Nazi ideology. Akin to how Clinton thinks anyone who didn't vote for her needs to be brought around to agreeing with woke ideology. Number 2. Joseph Stalin, Soviet Union. Under Joseph Stalin's rule in the Soviet Union, the Gulag system emerged as a network of labor camps aimed at purging perceived threats to the state. From the 1930s to the 1950s, millions of individuals, including intellectuals, political dissidents, and ethnic minorities, were forcibly sent to these camps. The brutal conditions and harsh treatment led to countless deaths. The state's attempt to re-educate individuals through forced labor and ideological indoctrination left an indelible scar on the nation's collective memory. Number 3. Pol Pot, Cambodia. The Khmer Rouge regime, led by Pol Pot, implemented radical social engineering policies in Cambodia from 1975 to 1979. In an attempt to create an agrarian utopia, the Khmer Rouge emptied cities and established re-education camps where intellectuals, professionals, and perceived enemies of the state were subjected to torture, forced labor, and execution. Number 4. The Vietnam Politburo. In the aftermath of the Vietnam War, the victorious North Vietnamese government established re-education camps to reform individuals associated with the fallen South Vietnamese regime. From the late 1970s into the 1980s, hundreds of thousands were interned, enduring harsh conditions and ideological indoctrination. The camps were a tool for the new regime to assert control and eliminate potential sources of opposition, leaving lasting scars on Vietnamese society. Number 5. Mao Zedong, China. During the chaos and bloodshed of the Chinese Cultural Revolution, Mao Zedong sent millions of Chinese people to re-education camps. Millions died in these brutal prison camps, all in the name of ideological conformity. This remains the most deadly time in human history. In recent decades, China has faced criticism for its continued use of re-education camps, particularly in the Xinjiang region. The Chinese government has been accused of detaining and re-educating Uyghur Muslims and other minority groups under the guise of combating extremism. Reports suggest widespread human rights abuses, including forced labor, mass surveillance, and cultural suppression, raising international concern and condemnation. This is frighteningly similar to how the left claims that anyone who doesn't vote Democratic is now a domestic terrorist or a right-wing extremist. The history of re-education camps in Nazi Germany, Soviet Russia, Cambodia, Vietnam, and China serves as a stark reminder of the atrocities committed in the name of ideological conformity. They may call themselves liberals, but the left has always hated political freedom. They seek only ideological conformity, and are determined to re-educate anyone who refuses. Hillary Clinton just said the quiet part out loud. That's a wrap for today's video. If you found this exploration of wokeness enlightening, please share this video. If you have thoughts or experiences to share, kindly leave a comment below. You can also support this channel by downloading my book, Ministry of Truth: How Propaganda Fuels the Culture War. And please join me every Tuesday, Thursday, and Sunday as we learn how to survive Wokeland together. Until then, this is Ethan Quinn saying, stay free,